Okay, for Chris Tomlin and Louis Giglio's arrangement of Amazing Grace, pretty interesting stuff. The chords are maybe just a little different for some folks. It starts off with a D with no third. So on a D chord, you normally have these three notes plus your bass note. And that high note right there is the third. So if you want a D no third, you have a couple choices. Either you don't strum the top string and get that, or you could kind of refinger this with a bar and play a high A with your pinky. That's just D's and A's, there's no F sharp, no third in it. I think in this song it's going to work better just to do these three notes, like only strumming three strings. Just stay off the high string. Sometimes if I'm going to strum that chord, it's kind of hard to strum and like not get the high string. I'll actually place my pinky, just kind of wrap it up, touch the high string with it, just kind of hold it there so that when I strum, it's like I can hit the high string, but it's just being dampened out. So it's a little freebie tip and trick for you. Next, we got a D2 with no third. So basically that's a D2. Okay, so we add the high string to that. Back to a D no third, back to D2 no third. Pretty simple. Then in the verse here, you got a regular D finally, a D sustain, you add your pinky, back to a D, D no third, A over D. Here's where you're just going to keep your index finger, bring your middle finger down to the 2nd fret, and you're still going to play the open D. It's kind of a biting sound, but it works nice in this song. Goes back to a D, a D2 over F sharp. If you've got like the huge mongoose thumb, which I don't, you can pull off your middle finger and grab that bass note. Barely get it. I tend to refinger this chord all the time. I use index finger, middle, and then my pinky actually. So my ring finger is the only one not getting used. It's kind of like the basics of a D chord with the F sharp and the bass there. Just works for my hands, so do what works for you. A G2, no third. Well, here's a G. G2 would be adding your index finger on the 2nd fret. It's important that you keep your ring finger on this chord too. If you didn't have your ring finger down, or had it on the top string, that would be a G2 with a third in it. Get that? Got a little bit different character than this. Yep. And then as it leads into the chorus, you got a bar with a D to G over D. Just kind of switch to keep your pinky on the high string. Do the top 4 strings. Back to a D. D over F sharp. Again, you can thumb it. Or you can switch to this shape I showed you before. In the chorus, you have an A over a G. I mean, there are obviously you can play an A chord like this, put a G in the bass. A lot of work for some folks, so you could just go from like a G, just play an A bar chord, stay on the top strings. You don't want to like slam the bass notes, because the bass guitar is playing that note. So he's got to stay out of the bass player's way. And coming out of the end of the chorus, you get a D sustained over E. Well, there's D sustained. You could kind of bar that, make an E there. You could do it with an E in the low. Couple options there. So let's show you how it goes. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. I go to the chorus. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing. Amazing grace. That should get you started. Enjoy.